Hello YouTube fam, how y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim fam. A lot of you all been asking me a very important question. Are you still a toy channel? Yes, I am. A lot of people are asking, are you transitioning into something else? No. The thing is, I let you know every video that, when I go out, I'm not finding anything. So if we're not finding anything, we need some other stuff to talk about. Like I said, the distribution is horrible right now when it comes down to brick and mortar. And some of the pre-orders are not as good as they used to be, man. Whereas you can get some stuff, man. I pre-order some stuff and I be the last one to get it. I've been got man's like a month after everybody else got theirs. And I'm like, this ain't right. But like I said, one thing about toys, for my generation, which is Gen X, man, a lot of this stuff, you know, came out with us, man. And, again, I'm one of those people that reliving my childhood in a way. Now that I got a little income, disposable income actually to afford to buy some stuff, it's a little different. Everything hits different when you have some money, bro. Your whole life changes when you have money. Not just money to pay bills, but some money extra, like $5 or $10 extra to buy some stuff, man. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm thinking about with this hobby is it's actually enjoyable. It is. It brings me joy, it brings me peace, but also sometimes it brings me sadness. That's just how this works. With anything that you love, it also are parts of it that you don't love. This is just life. It's not just, oh, he don't like collecting, See, you see what he's saying? He really don't like collecting. No, I like collecting. But the thing is, the collecting situation is collecting dust itself. Man, right now, we're not really living, the dream in the community, man. Some of us are living a good dream, whereas they finding things, whereas they section it, section of the country is stocked. Man's is not. And I'm okay with that. I do vent from time to time. That's what this channel does. We vent. We talk about this stuff. I talk about other stuff because a lot of things affect us collecting, bro. If you lose your job right now, shit, you ain't thinking about collecting. It hurt collecting right then and there. You done stopped collecting. You ain't got no money to collect no more. This is why I talk about so many different things. Your relationships, your significant other or lack thereof, man. Just everything that has something to do with you doing something, man. Everything that we talk about, man, has something to do with collecting, man. Your mindset, how you feeling at the moment. Some days you just not feeling up to it. You like, man, I don't even know if I really want to do this right now. I'm at the stage in my life, man, where I want to do some other stuff. I'm at the stage where I'm looking at this a certain way. Bro, it ain't nothing wrong with looking at anything in a certain way, a different light or a better understanding. You just trying to find a way to make yourself happy, bro. Sometimes when we collect this stuff, we filling holes. We filling holes that were left by something else in our life. Whereas if, some family members passed away, you collecting or, you remember collecting this stuff with your brother or, or your sister, or used to play these particular games, or, this stuff, you and your daddy used to buy these type of shoes. This is the stuff you collecting because it has nostalgic value. And this is how they get us with this stuff, man. They make subpar stuff for us to buy, and we go out and buy it because it reminds us of when times were better. When we had that big family unit and everybody was talking around the dinner table or whatever, people laughing and giggling, talking about their day. You ain't even have to be around the dinner table. You can be sitting, eating in front of the TV. But guess what? Everybody talking, you sitting there looking, listening into grown people business, and you just feeling happy. You playing with your toys, you keeping quiet, but you playing with your toys, you happy. And this is what I want for everybody. To be happy. I want people to live their best life. But again, I want you to realize that sometimes it ain't gonna always be good. Even with collecting, man, I have bad days when I collect, man. I sit here and we go to like 5 or 6 stores, man, and they all a bust. I go to 3 Targets and they all a bust. I go to like 2 different Walmarts, they're a bust on different sides of town. I done went from the south side, all the way south suburbs, to the northern suburbs, and you look at it and you be like, ain't nothing in none of these stores, and you feel it. You feel it. If you're a gym shoe collector and going to Ross, you looking at it like, man, I'm not fanning anything. Gym shoe collector, and you going to Marshalls rather, because TJ Maxx sells women's shoes. They rarely ever sell men's shoes unless it's a holiday. But you look at Marshalls and all of these places that were known for buying liquidated stock from like bigger brands. Sometimes they have heat, sometimes they don't. They have heat sometimes, but not in your size. The same thing with Burlington. You go to Burlington, they may have some heat with the toys. They may have some heat with the shoes, some heat with the clothes, bro. But sometimes heat with the cologne, heat with the purses for the women, or perfume. It's a lot of stuff, but you're looking at it and you trying to make it make sense as a collector, man. Collecting hits every box for me sometimes, man, because I'm feeling it, and you with the right person or the wrong person. It lets you know whether if the person appreciates what you're doing or not. You have your hobby. Your hobby is the thing that makes you happy. It actually relieves you. Like if you in there playing your video games and you stressed out of this world, you playing the game, or you in there watching one of your Blu-rays or DVDs, and it's a silly, like movie or something, it's help clearing your mind. You sitting here reading one of your comics, you like, man, I can't believe Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Scott fighting over the same, Scott and Wolverine fighting over Jean Grey. You sitting here thinking like this basic chick, it's like Twilight all over again. Edward and the other one is fighting over this damn chick, like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's what makes us as guys. Or if you go out and get your hair cut. Now again, I nick my head shaving. Now I used to go to the barber, and the barber recently was charging $75. He charged the same thing he charged my kids. Charged them $75 a haircut. Now again, straight razor, and he cuts, and warm towels and everything like that. And you like $75, that's like a waste of money. I started shaving my own head. I've been shaving my head for a minute now, but $75, bro, in this day and age, I couldn't see it, bro. But see, the thing is about a barbershop, bro, you're not just going to the barbershop just to get your hair cut. You going to listen to the conversation, be a part of the conversation, be in the middle of stuff, talking amongst guys, and you having a good time. You just just shooting the shit. And see, this is what happens when we in our own community, our own area, as far as collecting, bro. We shoot the shit with one another. We talk about things that make us happy, man. New hobbies, new outlooks. Like, man, you know what? I'm gonna just build a wall of Funko Pops. Man, I'm gonna build a wall of die-cast cars, my Barago and my Maestos, and and all of that stuff, and Revel and all of this other stuff. You got Jada cars, and you like, man, I'm gonna build a wall of that. And you like, man, but I'm gonna have my helmets over here. I'm gonna do this over there. I'm gonna have all the big play sets up at the top. You know what you're doing. You giving yourself, the blueprint of how you want to collect, because you got a certain thing in mind. I'm gonna have my shoes in the back. So, if something happens, I can just pull my shoes out. Like, yeah, I got the main shoes right there. My Jordans are going down the side over there. You got this on lock, bro. I'm still a toy channel. I'm still a collecting channel. But, when there's not things to collect or not things to find, like I said, I just don't want to buy anything at this point in time because of the way how the economy is looking. And the way how the job market is right now, I don't know. I seen some people get fired at my job, and I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I got kind of scared. I was like, damn, I thought dude was really doing his job. And I was like, I thought the other dude was really doing their job. I'm like, man, and you just sitting here thinking to yourself, you like, man, Maybe I'm missing something. This is why I'm being very selective on what I buy. You know, dude, the day of me just buying any and every damn thing is over, bro. So I'm just choosing to do what I need to do right now. And that is take my time and make sure I thoroughly investigate what it is that I want to buy. Because at the end of the day, man, this is stuff that you're going to be, with for a very long time. And you want to make sure it's the right stuff, man. And that's just the way I look at it, man. Yes, I'm still a collector. This is still a toy channel, a video game channel, a gym shoe channel, a perfume, cologne, have you on a hat channel, comic book channel, Funko Pop channel, small electronic channel, man, accessories channel, it's some everything that I got here. Watch channel. Dude, we got some everything here, man, but that's one of the good things, man. That's the thing that make us us. And that's the thing that makes us happy, man. Like I say, take your time. I got friends who collect beer bottles, beer cans from other places. I got a few of them, man, because we were in Canada and I seen some colorful cans and I just wanted to get them. I'm like, man, I don't drink, but, the cans look fantastic, bro. I'm like, man, I could just have a little part of it with just cans. And people be like, but see, you sending the wrong message to kids. Not everything is about the kids, bro. At the end of the day, you're not meant to be anybody else's role model, but, to your own. This is what people have kids, fathers and mothers for. It's their job, family members and stuff, to actually mentor them. It's nobody else's job to mentor your kids, bro. It's not. Everybody was brung up different outlook, different values, bro. Different religions and every damn thing else. This is why I say we need to take our time when we're doing stuff. Man, but yes, I'm still a collecting channel, but till later, peace out.